It's time for QB1 with Crissy, Froyd, and we're talking about Trevor Lawrence today. And Crissy, I don't know if it's jarring or it certainly just feels unusual when you see a starting quarterback suit up for a preseason game because you're used to seeing all the backups at the quarterback position and what they can do. I mean, how unusual was it for you to see Trevor Lawrence suit up for a preseason game and get those reps?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of half and half. I mean, some teams do it, some teams don't. But I think you have an interesting situation here with the Jaguars because they have new coaches on the staff and they're kind of washing off the Urban Meyer era, if you will, and kind of transitioning into something a little bit new. So I think there are some outside factors that might suggest that maybe you do want your starting quarterback in there. And I thought that he put on a really good performance. And I think that they're entering just a new time period that could be a lot more positive for this team overall and definitely for Trevor Lawrence, who I think did not have the rookie season that he wanted to have, even though he did show some good things in his own right. And I think that a lot of that had to do, I mean, partially just with rookie transition. No matter how good you are, 9 times out of 10, a rookie's going to have a hard time transitioning to the NFL at certain points in time. And then on top of that, just all the things that went on with Urban Meyer and just some of the off the field stuff, I think made it really, really hard. And so I think that he has a really good chance just to get more of a season in which would look like he wanted last season to look.
Does starting Trevor Lawrence in a preseason game indicate to you, Crissy, that the coaching staff still has a long way to go in terms of putting all the puzzle pieces back together, like you say, moving forward from what was an incredibly turbulent season? Or would that be reading too much into it? In other words, is it something of a troublesome sign that you would need your starting quarterback out there in the preseason? Or is this just kind of par for the course with everything that they've been through?
Yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily a negative thing, but I do think that they do have some things to work out. And I think that that does factor into it. So I don't think that it's really a cause for concern. I think that it's something that we see. I mean, we usually see NFL teams put their starter in at least for a drive or so just in the preseason, just to kind of get things going and knock a little bit of the rust off in real game action, if you will. So I don't really think that it's anything to read too horribly far into, but I do think that the Jaguars, obviously, when you change head coaches, you've got some additional work to do and you're a little bit behind some of the other people that have some continuity going.
Things couldn't have gone much worse last season for the group overall. I mean, do you expect an improved performance from Trevor Lawrence this season?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. And I know that Travis Etienne, who was with him at Clemson, was saying that it felt like old times whenever they were out there on the preseason field together. And so I think that that's very indicative of just this team having much higher morale and much more confidence and just a much better feeling about this season, which it's easy to get the sense that they didn't last year. Because I mean, when you look at the circumstances, how could you with all of that going on? It seemed like a lot of things to deal with and something that really just set this team up, an already struggling team up, for a lot of failure.
So in your mind, and I think it's fair to say in everybody's mind, I mean, this is still a quarterback that is capable of being a generational talent when you consider how difficult last season was on and off the field.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that just his first preseason performance really showed that against the Cleveland Browns on Friday. 6 of 12 completions for 95 yards and a touchdown. And his first pass of the game was a 32-yarder to Zay Jones that looked really good. And so I think that just from the beginning, we saw, hey, this is still the Trevor Lawrence that we thought it was. And then that's really just the beginning of this. And so I think that between Travis Etienne's comments and then just how good Trevor Lawrence looked at the beginning, and this team seems to really have almost kind of relaxed within itself, if you will. And so I think that they're on the right track. And I think that we're going to have a chance to see Trevor Lawrence shine. Not that he didn't when you look at the tape and look at Trevor Lawrence in his own right for the majority of last season. But I think that things are just looking up in a way that maybe they could not have last year.
Yeah, you don't want to read too much into the preseason, but you certainly give him a ton of credit, just mentally having the fortitude to be able to be consistent, I guess, in any way that he can, given just the tumultuous nature of everything that was around him outside of the preseason performance, which I think was, by all accounts, pretty solid. Is there anything else in the offseason that you've seen or heard or people that you've talked to that would indicate that not only is he the consistent quarterback that many people expected, but he's actually making gains and getting a little bit better as he heads into another NFL season?
Yeah, I think whenever you enter your second offseason as an NFL quarterback with your rookie season under your belt, that you're obviously going into a better situation, than even more so with a coaching staff that seems to be more up to par in an environment that seems to be a lot more settled, certainly than last year did. So I think that there have been a lot of good reports coming out of training camp. I think that Trevor Lawrence has looked like Trevor Lawrence to the extent that we thought that he would. And I think that there's a lot of good things on the horizon for him.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more QB1.